Cool. Wow, what a treat.
Mm.
Um, well, maybe Emmanuel, I know there's a lot going on there, and you were just sharing that you were lucky to and feeling blessed to be able to be on the call because you didn't have electricity. But given that and time circumstances, maybe we jump right in. And again, let's just take a moment and remember why we're all here and let our hearts touch each other and the care and what brings us here, touch our souls. And then, Emmanuel, you can step right into yeah, sharing what's happening there.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, so just a moment to remember ourselves and touch in. Um, yeah. Mm. Mm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, nice to meet you all. I'm happy to see you, Gigi, Barbara, Randy, and Muita and Larry. Thank you for making to this call. As we speak here for the last 3 days, 4 days, we have been having rains, and the rains are not so much aggressive. So it rained and then it stopped. And then we started, we had already prepared our land for planting. So at least we managed to plant our corn, and we are looking forward maybe for germination. And the children are now having a break from Friday. We started a break for 2, 3 weeks until towards the end of April. Then we resume learning in class. But for now, we are doing some work outside the class by just planting and preparing the soil for more crop planting. And we have doing this since the rain came, and before the rains we were preparing for the land. The children are all doing well, and now we are also getting to make the other building for the high school. That means grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, they will have their separate building for learning. For now, we have all of them, the grade 9, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9. They are in the new building at the center. This was the one which has a two-story building. They are learning there. But once the other classrooms are ready, they will be able to go to their classrooms. Uh, we have been experiencing a few challenges at the center. I think at first, when we started at the land, we had built some toilets, but now we need to make maybe one or two for the girls, to add one for the girls and add one for the boys. And this is urgent, because the number of children that we have right now cannot be sustained for with the 2 units of toilets. So that is something we need to do, maybe during this time when they are still having a break, and between now and May, we need to come up with maybe at least one unit, 2 units, one for the boys, one for the girls. So that is one need that we need to do at the center. But in other words, in terms of the dormitories, the boys and the girls, we have the boys dormitory, we have the girls dormitory, and they now live in these houses. And we also still have food for the children. We still have food to feed them. But this will, as we are planting, if we will be able to, the rains will be able to be genuine and good enough, then we are expecting to start our harvesting in early August. If that will be the rains will be good, we will do that. So as at now, we are having all the children at the center, but still maybe during the break we will have those who will still be at the center, and we will have those who they do come and go to the host families. So that is what we have been going through right now as we speak. But we thank God that all has been well towards the beginning of this year until now, and we still have our pigs and our chickens, all poultry that provide eggs, and until now, we are doing all our best to make sure that we take care the chicken and the pigs, and also we take care of the land. We were expecting to drill a borehole this year. We had we got support. I think that was last year, and Jacqueline and Yamila, who lives in Italy and Argentina, they will be able to come preferably next month or early June, as they said. And the main purpose will be drilling another borehole that will be able to provide water for the community, and we will be able now to use the water for the domestic use with the children, and also be able to do irrigation with the old borehole. So the main purpose to have the new borehole is to have like sufficient water to share with the community during dry season, but also, and we will be able also to grow food during the dry season, or during drought, we will be able to grow food because we will have enough water. So that is the main reason why we need to have a second borehole. The second borehole will be solely to domestic use within the center and share with the community. And the borehole that we have, we will also be able to use them to use for the irrigation, so that we can be able to grow food during rain season and also during drought season. So that is the reason why we required a second borehole to do that. So as we speak right now, the building for the high school is now, we were to make the slab this weekend, but we didn't do it because the electricians delayed to come. So they will start like tomorrow to make the piping for electricity when we get, so that we are able to when they make the slab, then when they come, they'll be easy for them to do the wiring for the electricity at the center. So for now, that much we can I can share for now. And another one is the tree planting. We already started tree planting, and we are making invitation to all the community as the rain have started, so that we are able to plant trees. Those we have at the nursery tree, so that when the rain come, the trees will be able to grow until when the rains are not there or dry come, and then we are able to support with water. But for now, it will be very easy for the trees to grow because of the rains that we have. So we had waited for this time so that we can do the planting of the trees, and we will be able to do that from this week as we go on. I will be able to share some photos under the day that we will be doing, hopefully from tomorrow this week. And Gigi, thank you so much. I think you are missed very much here by the children. They always ask when you are coming back, and sometimes it's very touching and gets emotions. But because when they ask, and they seem like they really need to see you, but I don't know this what will be happening or what is happening. But I think there will be time for healing as time goes by, because it has been soon, and I think they still see you playing with them, and sometimes they feel like they will see you coming out from your tent to going to the staff room and going to play with them, of which is no longer there. But I'm sure you are still very much in their hearts and their prayers. So thank you so much for creating that relationship with the children.
Thank you, Emmanuel. They do message me on WhatsApp sometimes.
Wow.
And I think of them all the time. In fact, I talk about them with my friends. And yesterday, one of my friends who is going to Kenya for her own purposes, she said, "I'm sure you will be back again." And I believe that. And let's just keep it that way. Like, I have some thoughts and ideas, but as they mature, I'll share. For now, please give my greetings to the children, and maybe they can call me through WhatsApp. Sometimes we can do video call.
I will let them know, because they have internet at the center. They can do that. Yeah. So that's the brief sharing that I can share for now, and happy to be here with you all. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, it's beautiful. Thank you, Emmanuel, and welcome, Tishi. Nice to see you here again as well.
Nice to see you, Tishi.
Yeah, Emmanuel, just for clarity on my end, so you're planting now and hoping for harvest in early August if the rains continue. What's your anticipated food supply capacity between now and then?
For now, we still have food, and if goes well, maybe that we may need support for food. Maybe that will be towards the end of June or early July. and that will be towards the harvest, I think. So for now, we are still having good stuff from the last harvest.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Helpful to know for anticipating. How about just other questions from folks? For Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, could you share again how many children are going to be advancing into the new high school facility
We
and level and grades?
we already have those who will be advancing is grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9, and and now and grade 9. All these with the 4 classrooms, they will now move to the new building once it's ready, hopefully early May or mid-May.
Wow, coming right up. And so your grade levels go, do they stop at grade 9 or how far
Yeah,
is
for now, according to the new curriculum, after grade 9, they'll go to junior high school, of which maybe we may not be able to offer that at the center. So maybe the government will let us know from there if what they will be able to have made or where they will join, they will tell us. But for now, we have grade 1, 2 until 6, and then grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9, they are still at the center, and that's why we are taking them to the new school. And all of them will be 120 children.
the total or 7, 8, and 9?
Total, all
Okay.
of them. We have
Mhm.
approximately 30 students in the grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9. 30, 32, 33, around there.
Okay, yeah, that I wanted to understand that. In our system, 7, 8, and 9 are usually labeled junior high school.
Yes.
And some high schools here in the US begin with grade 9 and go through 12. Others begin at grade 10 and go through grade 12. Yeah.
I think it will be the same, but now the government has not yet given direction of like a junior high school. Will it be still within the schools that we are having, or they will offer some other part? Like before the change of the curriculum, we had grade 1 until grade 8. So the standard 8 were able to do a national exam, and then they join Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4 before they join university. But now with the change of the curriculum here, then children from grade 6, they do a national exam, and then they don't leave the schools, but they proceed to grade 7 and grade 8 and to grade 8 to grade 9. So from grade 9, then from grade 10 and grade 11, then the government will tell us maybe they will be able to do a national exam, and then they will able to call them wherever, maybe high schools or junior high schools that they will have be designed for them. But for now, we still accommodate them in the same school.
Okay, so the sixth graders have to pass that examination in order to progress
To
to
go,
grade, or
they say they have like a national assessment to assess the grade 6, how they will manage maybe after that assessment, then they are getting like a certificate of completion. Now they are ready to go for grade 7 and grade 8 and grade 9. So from there, then they go for junior high school or junior second school.
Okay, so everyone so far is able to qualify for the next grade based on their examination, their assessment.
Yes,
Good.
yes, yes. With this time, I may say we have very competent and qualified teachers, especially for those in grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9. And we hired two most recently who are taking care of grade 8 and 9. So I think they are very, very good. I don't know how long they will stay with us, but for now, I really appreciate what they are doing. I say I don't know how long they will stay with us because sometimes the government also advertise, and most people they want to join the government to work with the government. But for now, the government has not hired many qualified teachers. They are still looking for employment. So we were able to get some of them to our center, and that's really good.
Okay, so yes, you are a private school and privately funded, not government funded.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm clear about that. I'm curious. I won't keep you too long with this inquiry, but I'm very curious a little bit about the curriculum in the later grades, the higher grades. Is there any component that we used to call civics in the US? It no longer exists or is very spotty, that teaches the children about the government and democratic processes and their citizenship, their participation in their own society and government. Is there anything in the curriculum?
Yes, yes. They call it like social studies.
Okay, social. It would be social. Yeah, we use that term too, but it's not specifically teaching them about how government works and how they
Yeah,
participate.
mostly they will touch like here in Kenya, they will touch all the government, the national government and the county governments, how they are run and their levels, and they will for sure speak about democracy, what it means as per the government description, and they will also give much on the boundaries and sort of kind of the geographical aspects of other countries and how they learn, and they also get a little bit out of the country, and we come to the continent and maybe some parts of the world, and then coming back to their content. So the social studies we are always getting to know about that, but also we have physics here that is also taught in the grade 7 and grade 8.
And I'd imagine, so that's all part of the general social studies. I'd imagine that because the students have such phenomenal hands-on experience becoming organic gardeners and lovers of the land, that is integrated with your biology classes in some way.
In that connection, I feel that they are connected to, for me, I call it to a deeper sense and a deeper connection in terms of feelings, and also for me, I call it you use both your head and your heart at the same time, because if you only use your head, then you think and maybe you can solve problems, yes, but sometimes you may not be able to solve more emotional or things in terms of, instead of using your mind, you can use both your mind and heart to feel that person to be even more human. So I think with this connection, I think that is the privilege that we have, and we really, when we go to other institutions like during games, then we see or we hear the other people or teachers commenting on that, on our children, and that is very good on our side.
That's so beautiful to hear, you know, as an educator.
Yeah.
Has always been often been missing in my own education and in the institutions I've worked with is an emphasis on the whole human being, both head and heart. That's still, you know, I think children here get it in the very first grade, kindergarten, and then it's gone. Then it's all cognitive. It's all, you know,
Yeah.
knowledge, banking knowledge instead of making that connection. And you are privileged. That is, I think that word is appropriate to be able to bring that back into human education. Very good.
Thank you. Mhm.
Hi, Emmanuel. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hi, Tish.
Hi, Tishy.
Yeah, long time.
You again.
Yeah, I've been trying to do my ocean thing, but it's, you know, COVID set us all back a little over here. I've been wanting to introduce you to a friend, Georgia Umano, who lived in Africa for a year and a half with her husband. She went over to rescue elephants, and she ended up falling in love with the women and children. And so now she's starting a nonprofit for a school for women and children to get into conservation, understanding what animals are around them. And I want her to connect with you. She wrote a book, Terriers in the Jungle.
Wow.
It's a perspective of her two dogs that came on the trip with her, but it's really her perspective, but it's told through the eyes of her dogs. And she's doing a movie on it, which will benefit her budding organization. But I really think she'd be a great connect. She's got a lot of exposure as an actress over here, a theater actress. And she's in her 70s and she's just a powerhouse to be reckoned with. So I really think her energy and learning from you for what she's going to do in Kenya, because she came there, like I said, to save elephants, and she was flipped by what the children and the women could really do and what they need to know about their own environments. Not just the elephants, but in general, you know. So she's starting a school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Her school will have teachers, conservation, anything that has to do with the environment in Africa. So
Nice.
later on, we'll be bringing the ocean to them, but I'll do that in some of our education adventures in the future. So.
That's nice. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hear from you.
I talked to her about you a lot, so I think it's good for the introduction. She doesn't get up early enough to make this, but I'm going to show her the recording after. So I'm here in her presence too.
Wow, that will be nice.
That's great, Tishy. Yeah. Any other questions?
Where's Marjorie?
Yes, where's Marjorie? I didn't get up a Facebook post early enough, and I didn't personal message her, so she may have missed the notice on the call, though I think she's on the email list. But
I woke up to your notice, so it was just in time. And I was like, oh God, I just gotta have a little bit of juice and get up and get in.
Really glad you jumped. Wow. Yeah. I would like to hear from you a little bit, Gigi, but also want to, you know, one question around numbers of students, because Gigi, when you were there, you did the first database for the students, including photos and names and ages and grade and favorite color, I believe. But so you came up with 456 children at the center in the database, which was way more than I expected. And so Emmanuel, the number of students then in 7, 8, and 9, as I understand it, that's 120 for those 3 grades?
Yeah.
Okay. And so then the others are, okay. Maybe something that would be interesting to play with here, and just a starting point, Gigi, for you to share something, but also Emmanuel, then for you to pick up however you might wish. Also, is that just a really powerful thing you said to me when you were sharing, Gigi. I've never been in a place that had such great poverty and yet such richness of human spirit. And you can share anything you want about your experience there, but I'd be curious to just have that be a starting place. And you are muted, just, yeah. So.
Yeah, sure. I'll just share a little bit about that sentence, which I shared during my reflections with Larry. Because I was born in Iran, there were places that I've visited, and their lifestyle was similar to the lifestyle I experienced in Kenya, which is very different from American lifestyle. I was able to immediately connect with the environment there. Initially, I had a little bit of a shock, but then I was like, okay, it reminds me of Iran in some ways. But when I really stayed there and lived with on grounds, on grounds, it is a little bit different from the cities or like bigger towns. I started realizing that there are more that could be created and developed at Magarini within the school square feet than I've ever experienced even back in Iran. And I was like, okay, this is interesting understanding. It is even different from my experience back in Iran. And again, as I was adapting and like making it home for myself, I told Larry before I left that my goal is to find home in every moment, and just that became the practice. And when I felt comfortable within the new home, I started really recognizing the greatness of spirit, the love, the kindness among the community, which I shared within like first 10 days. And I shared that with Larry, Cheryl, when we had a little meetup with Emmanuel and all of us together. I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel very loved, or they care about me a lot. And as at the end of the 3 weeks, I felt like, okay, I've never experienced this amount of care and love anywhere else either. So it's just, that was a strike, in books and in sometimes people's writing, you hear that the kindest, most loving people are the ones who have the least. But I was able to experience that for myself, and it just makes me wonder how that happens. And I guess that was that's where the sentence comes from, as part of my reflections. Like, what do we, for myself, what do we miss as we become more developed, that we become less kind and loving? I guess that was the experience. Or maybe is that just the people in Africa and people of this exact tribe, Griyamas, that I stayed with, that they always been like that? Is this how they are characterized? Because the cultural differences is also vast among any community as we go from one tribe to another. So maybe it's all over the place, but that's where I was. And that's where I am right now, just contemplating.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Barbara, you've spent extensive time at the center as well, so. Yeah.
Well, Gigi, I like your contemplations and your questions about what it is that creates a feeling of community, of a beloved community. You know, when I've observed this myself in various places, I know that at the base of that, I've learned that when people have to count on each other for their everyday survival needs, it's a major, major motivation. It doesn't ensure that everyone loves each other, but it's a binding together that doesn't exist within alienated modern society where we are on so many grids of resources that are separated and independent from each other, that things we take for granted about what we drink and what we eat and what we use and how we get to places are all very, far removed from our own sense of control and destiny over those things. And these children growing food together, loving trees together, playing with you, rather than watching screens for hours a day. All of these things are part of what bind people together and what enabled us to even exist as a species today, just mostly thousands of years of Magarini.
You are absolutely right. So maybe I'll just share this experiencing that, and then Tanzania, even South Africa, even Morocco. When I arrived at the airport, headed back to America, I could recognize the contrast, and I had immense amount of anger for having to come back.
Shock.
Yes.
Culture.
I even called someone, or I guess told somebody in anger that we just have money. That's all we got. And our life feels fake, and our jobs, corporate jobs, feels fake. And I guess that was just what happened at the airport and when I landed in America. Yes, and that is kind of the reason for me to want to go back to the it's not underdeveloped. It has a negative meaning, I feel like, for me, but the more natural land, kind of to live in and to be in, because that seems like a lot more of a true life there than the one I have in DC, which makes me very sad.
If Emmanuel could bottle the happiness that he sees amongst the people, he would be very rich. And
That is true.
that simplicity that you get, I mean, I can't even compare but I've lived along the poverty belt for the last decade or so in America, which is nothing compared to what I mean, I remember when Emmanuel was going to coffee shops to talk to us, and the dirt floors and things, and that's nothing I can compare to. But I think I've always been happier than a lot of my friends with materialistic things. And I'm trying to build an ocean foundation to help our planet. And I've had to do so by pet sitting, cleaning houses, even though I have a triple master's degree and I could be working at NOAA or something. I've chosen not to. And I find myself singing and happier around people that have so much around me. So if you could bottle that happiness that those children have and that you saw, Gigi, it would just be, that's a whole thesis in itself, is how you keep that, Emmanuel, against all odds. I just think it's amazing.
Wow.
Emmanuel, do you
I
have?
think I'm just recalling we have had visitors, and I think I remember the day. Barbara and Benjamin Khalifa, and Marianne and Brigitta, when they came, and then David followed. They give what they say towards the center, and what I hear from those who come most recently, I think the people around and those who come at the center and the children at large, in a way, we all go through a healing process. Somehow, we are all having a healing process in us, and being together, we may be able not to understand fully what the other process for the other person is happening, but being together in such a process of healing gives us the happiness of how we can grow and live together, because we feel cared and we feel caring for the other person. And when we, especially when we go to farm or working in the farm, you hear children singing. And sometimes when they sing, you feel, personally, me as Emmanuel, I feel something is changing in me. Something is like healing in me in terms of how we all do this. And everyone has his or her own way of touching that. And I think that is also equally, not maybe equally, may not, but to the people or visitors who visit us, they like uh, uh, other people said, this is a children's center, but for me, it's a healing center. So when someone says it's a healing center, then actually I have no words to describe that that part, but I can feel it, that yes, the healing that is going on within me, and when I touch the soil, I feel like the healing of myself going down to the soil and coming back to the people. Then those who are community who come and we work together and living together, I think there is something that always, all of us, I think we have a process. And I can tell this because during COVID, we were not able, or we are not allowed to move outside our community, not to go there. And we were settled at one place, and there was this like making distance. This, I think, caused a lot of trauma in my community, because we lost that process of uniting us in healing process, regardless of what coming in as a person, or during what kind of healing process you are in, or what you are doing as a person in terms of connecting yourself to the soil and to the other people. Until of late now, I feel that spirit, or that healing and the coming together, it has now come back after 2 years or 3 years of post-corona. No, life has really like now coming back towards like embracing and getting the healing from each other. So when you share that, GJ, I feel like you had there is something I cannot explain with words, but I think it is something that touches us in a way that now can bring manifestation towards other people.
Yes.
And as Tishi said, we can recall that, we can take that, because we are living in a different diverse and different area, but I think we are all one. And once I say we in terms of before many things, the world has really changed. Before the big universities, before people could go even to school, there was a kind of system of education, which now maybe it is forgotten. Maybe if not, it is in brackets, but it has been there. But if we can at least see how are people living on during those age, and now of when we speak of modernization and civilization, but if we completely forget the deeper sense of unity and healing and being together, I think that is something we can all embrace and bring in terms of community living. Because as a people living in a community, then we feel there should be something. Okay, there we have, as we are different tribes here, and even a tribe have a clan, and every clan has some kind of culture, but in the larger community that brings these clans and tribe together is a source of support in terms of healing process that goes on. And even not only for the people, but both even for the land and the soil. That's why there have been so many rituals in some of in our community in terms of when they start to harvest, they have to make some rituals, and when they start to make the land, they have to make rituals. And when I asked why do we need to make rituals to be done to the land, and then they said it's very important to create a good relationship with the soil, because remember, before you put a seeds, you have to cut the soil. And you just imagine if someone cuts you, you feel pain and you become, but if you do it in a purpose that the soil can support you, without doing that, then you cannot live yourself, because you have to put seeds and it has to grow. So by saying that, we are now ready to cut you so that our children can feed from what you bring out. We do this because without doing this, you cannot support our lives here. And we cannot also support you by giving what is needed for you to produce our food. So I feel there is a circle of healing and a circle of common mutual, where we meet with the soil, we meet with the people. When our souls or our heart touches together, then there is something that is happening. And I think it is last month I was in Germany, and I talked to Brigitte, who first came to our school, and he said that's she said that's a day or time that she will never forget in her life. And the healing she got there, it was something maybe was in his skin or somewhere, but that was gone. And until now, he feels that the center is still a healing place. And we say so because the way he connected to the area and to the healing that she got, it means that there is a spirit, or there is spirits which all embrace and connect us together in terms to bring back the humanity that we are before education, and maybe during the education. And how can we make a humanity out of this combination in terms of being educated, at the same time don't lose the humanity that we all need to have.
Emmanuel, I think you hit on something too, where with healing, you have to have hope, and you and your wife have created hope for these children. And then the simplicity that still is there comes from what we talked about when I invited Jay Nichols, and the soil and the water are the two things that we all start with, and then we get too much in our mind and forget, and we get mad at the people with money and all that. But you're richer when your soil is good and you're getting water supply. And Jay writes that whole Blue Mind book on the healing quantities of healing portions of water. And you have touched on that with the soil. And I think that gets us back to our basics. And that's where you're talking about the simplicity of what people see when they come to you and the happiness that's there. It's
I
huge.
think you are right, because without hope, I think we would not be where we are. So restoring hope is part of what we teach and also learn with the children. Because without hope, then once we lose hope, and I'm sure that many of the children who come had lost hope, like what I had already lost hope during my childhood, but now restoring the hope and being together and caring for each other and caring for the land gives us a hope. And as we nurture ourselves, we also restore our hope. And I think that's very touching.
And on top of everything, like the healing process, I can actually have very solid two examples, personal examples of mine. Yes, which I could share when, and I agree.
Yeah.
Be great, Gigi. Randy, thanks for being here. See you.
Thank you all. It's been a real honor and pleasure, and I loved all those things that you sort of brought together and synthesized in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Emmanuel, and all of the other people here contributing these strands in the basket of dialogue, to go deeper into what all this means. And I'm really thinking again about, and I'm thinking very purposefully now about Magarini as a healing center. That's really special. Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Let's see you. Gigi, love to hear what you were gonna share.
Yes, this may sound a little silly, but I never had a good relationship with food growing up, and as an adult. It's just I ate to survive. And I knew that, and I didn't care, And when I was at the Magarini school and Jessica was cooking for me, in the beginning, I was just like, somehow I realized I have more appetite. And she was like, oh, wow. Okay. And I shared that with her and I said, I don't usually eat, but I feel like eating a lot more food here. And she said, she just, as if she knew it, she said, it's maybe like you probably have been eating to survive. But here at this, in our community, we eat together, we sit together and eat together. And that's how we help each other eat food and grow. So we eat to grow.
Nourish. Yeah.
And to nourish, yes. And yes, we did that for 3 weeks, and every day that's what we did. And I came back home, and now my complete appetite has changed, metabolism has changed. And she also, in those conversations, once told me, when we had to like talking about groceries and stuff, she would say, well, if I were you, I would just buy food for myself and cook for myself, because I was saying, like, I live alone and I like to cook for more people than just myself. She was like, why not? And yes, I heard it back then, and now in my life I'm like leaving it, which is interesting. And I recently realized, okay, that's an example of healing. Another example of healing, which I kind of shared last time also, was interacting with children. I felt that being among them and kind of, holding their hands, dancing, singing, talking, playing, hearing their stories, in a way, like healed my own childhood in some ways, without going to the details, the neglect, the emotional experiences that I experienced. Maybe no one intended to give it to me, but that was my experience. And I felt camaraderie and equality, and in a spirit level, without words, I understood. By understanding their experiences, I then understood my experience, if that makes sense. And I was talking to Cheryl the other day, and I said, I feel like the theme of my Africa trip was heart opening. And that was a gift I received from the children. They opened my heart. And they sing, you were saying, Emmanuel, they sing, and I would be in my tent or doing my own thing, right? But you hear it, and you know there is a group of people who share your pain and now your happiness, and they are singing regardless of everything. And it just, you're like, okay, I am also allowed to sing. Look at them, they are inspiration for me. Maybe the context of our pain is different, but that's how they react. They have friends, they have the land, and they are singing. And it just would like, okay, I'm allowed to also be happy. That's another thing I took like in a tangible way. And I really agree with the first person who went to Magarini. Like, yes, I am removed, but I still can go back in my mind and remember those feelings. So I live through it, through my days here, like by remembering or holding on to, or like attending these calls, or just learning more about the center, or like thinking about the center, or kind of actively thinking, what else can I do? How else can I do it? Blah, blah. I feel like I am holding on to the healing spirit that is in Magarini. And when I said I was angry, I was not angry at the people who have money. I was just, I realized, and I kind of mostly about myself, that I was not rich in spirit when I arrived back in America, in DC. I was angry, upset, as my boundaries were crossed by somebody I don't know, that put me in a situation that gave me a lot of good looking things. Yes, money is very important, monetary, just like this whole life and lifestyle is important, right? We get used to it, but maybe I wanted that, and I wanted what Africa has. Obviously, when you read more about Africa, you get deep into the politics there. Like they have 30% of like natural resources, but no one African knows what they are. No one African honestly can get up to the top and see everything or take control of that resources. It's always other countries who are investing in Africa and like utilizing its resources. And you can't, without pointing fingers, I still felt that maybe the common consciousness that was within me felt angry because her felt violated in some ways in a bigger picture. I'm still processing that, but it's not pointing finger at anyone. Or if somebody has millions of dollars, good for them. That's my goal too. How they spend it is up to them, but mine might be different. So that's just wanted to share and clarify that last point.
That points out that it's easy to get angry at society, but it's not so easy to be angry at humanity. We're trying to fix it, and even in ourselves. And you've had a beautiful experience. It makes me kind of weep. It's nice. And that's because of you, Emmanuel, because of what you brought there, you and your wife. So, and Larry, you're the bomb diggity.
Well, it's, we're in this together, of course. And Barbara, I just really want to, you've been going there for so long and such an important foundational piece of the organization and its support. We'll move towards closing up here shortly, but Barbara, you haven't spoken yet. Anything you'd care to share?
No, I just know that it's time to go back soon to Kenya if I hear this.
Can we all go together? That would be amazing experience.
Yeah. Yeah, from the early days, I've seen the center as a healing center and as a international learning and healing center. And it's so rewarding to watch it grow over the years and in that direction. And it will continue to do so. And part of the conversation here on this call has certainly been community in various ways, even without naming it, in the way we're woven together and the way that we survive and live together and our hearts touch each other. And just these calls are so rich for me each time yeah, I'm just so grateful each of you showed up. And Emmanuel, my brother, so love you, and possibility of you coming back to the States this fall. And there is interest, Tisha, you may not have heard, but from some folks certainly in my circle of having a visit to the center. So that'll, we'll keep people informed of that. Maybe just this moment of letting our hearts touch ourselves, is knowing that as we do this, we touch each other too. And as we touch each other with our hearts, we are touching ourselves and the soil and the water.
One thing maybe before we close,
Sure.
maybe Gigi, Barbara, and Larry, you may receive emails from Roland. Roland is the husband for Astrid, and he devoted himself to give time towards making the website. So he have some questions maybe he will be able to ask any of us here according to their experiences, and maybe what can be done towards making the website, and if anything. So he told me that, so maybe you may receive such emails, or maybe some of you, he has already contacted you, but I think it's good to make it clear here why he is doing that.
Mhm. And he also wanted to join this evening, but he also had another appointment, so he wasn't sure. And Larry, if you can send the recording to him, maybe then he can just listen in.
Yeah. To who is that, Barbara?
Roland.
Roland.
Oh, okay. I'll try to make sure that he gets targeted with that, and maybe you can
Yeah.
help. Hopefully I can transcribe it and get it up today, and then I'll get an email out certainly in the next day or two. So great.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
all. Love to each of you.
Thank you. Much love to all of you.
Love to
Thank
you
you so
guys.
much.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.